So here we are, we've reached the final chapter of Paul Hadjic from Clutton Cox Solicitors Amazon 5-starred book. This is the final video, it's actually number 27, so if you have missed the other 26, feel free to go and search them out. But this is the summary here of the conveyancing guide. Now, this puts all the stages of the conveyancing process into chronological order for you. There are 4 main stages in the process, 3 of which you will be involved with, and a final administrative stage. Stage 1 is pre-exchange, stage 2 is exchange, stage 3 is completion, and stage 4 is post-completion, and we're going to take a look at all of these now. Let's start with pre-exchange. Your conveyancing solicitor will request a draft contract from the seller's conveyancing solicitors along with replies to the property information form and fixtures and fittings questionnaire. You cannot have a contract to buy property unless it's in writing or there is some written evidence of it. This gives the buyer's conveyancing solicitor time to investigate the title to the property contained in the draft contract documentation. At this stage, the buyer will arrange mortgage finance and have the property surveyed. The seller will find another property to purchase or look at alternative accommodation. Whilst the investigation is being carried out, all correspondence should contain the phrase "subject to contract." This is to ensure that both the buyer and the seller are not committed to a contract without having all of the necessary information. Once your conveyancing solicitor has received the contracts, which usually takes around a week, the following will occur. Your conveyancing solicitor will look through all the paperwork provided and will raise necessary further inquiries. Usually, this is because the documents provided don't contain all the information required, or the information contained within the documents raises further questions. Once the reply to these inquiries are received, your conveyancing solicitor will report back to you by letter, email, or over the telephone, or in person. Your conveyancing solicitor will apply for any searches that are deemed necessary in relation to buying your chosen property, and once the results are received, a report is forwarded to you for your information and any comments you might have. A local search varies around the country, so expect between a couple of days and a couple of weeks to come back on this. A copy of your mortgage offer will also be forwarded to your conveyancing solicitor, and once this is received, a report is made to you regarding the contents. You should check your mortgage offer carefully to ensure that the offer you received relates to the mortgage product that you applied for. You should also ensure you're able to satisfy any conditions attached to that offer before you accept the mortgage offer, usually by signing one copy and returning it to your lender. Now be aware, your conveyancing solicitor is highly unlikely to see the property, so if there's anything that strikes you as odd or different, you will need to make sure you mention this as soon as possible. Now, exchange of contracts. Before giving your conveyancing solicitor the go-ahead to exchange contracts, you must be satisfied with all of the search results, inquiries raised, your mortgage offer, your surveyor's report, and have building insurance arrangements in hand for your new property. At this point, your conveyancing solicitor will request a deposit, usually 10% of the agreed purchase price. The seller may, if agreed in advance, accept a smaller amount depending on circumstances. Once you provide a deposit to your conveyancing solicitor, provided all other parties in the chain are also ready, an exchange should be imminent. If not already agreed, now is the time to discuss completion or moving in date. Once contracts have been exchanged, usually via telephone call between conveyancing solicitors, both parties become legally bound by the terms and conditions of the contract and will be required to complete the contract on the agreed completion date. Very important, you can't turn back once the contracts have been exchanged. You will not be able to change the completion date once contracts have been exchanged, and if you cannot complete on the contractual completion date, your deposit may be forfeited and you could be sued for further out-of-pocket expenses. On completion, this date is when you'll be able to collect the keys for your new home and or hand them over if you are selling. Between exchange and completion, your conveyancing solicitor will be required to carry out final searches with the land registry, either a land charges search or an official search, and will also report to your lender that the title of the property makes it a suitable security for their needs and requests release of the mortgage advance. You may also be required to finalise and sign some paperwork if this hasn't already been carried out. Prior to completion, your conveyancing solicitor must be in possession of a signed mortgage deed and transfer. You must also ensure you've carried out the following: book or confirm your removers, and it may be necessary to give them a map with directions. Make sure you cancel any orders such as newspaper, milk and other deliveries, and send details of your change of address to everyone that needs it. People like your bank, DVLA, insurance companies, memberships, doctors, health authority and credit cards. Usually, about 1 week before completion, you'll receive a completion statement. This sets out exactly how much is needed to complete your purchase and will include any stamp duty land tax that may be payable. On the day of completion, your conveyancing solicitor will transfer to the seller's conveyancing solicitors the purchase price, less any deposit paid on exchange via their bank electronically. This process should be virtually simultaneous, but in practice it can take up to an hour or 2 hours to be received by the seller's conveyancing solicitors, because banks can also have bad hair days as well. Once they've received the funds, they will call the estate agents and arrange for the keys to be released to you. Congratulations, you are now officially a new homeowner and or an ex-homeowner. Now, post-completion, for the conveyancing solicitor, your transaction doesn't end there and there's still work to be done. Your conveyancing solicitor will arrange for any stamp duty payable to be paid to Her Majesty's Revenue in accordance with their requirements. Any fee for stamp duty has to be provided to HMRC within 30 days of completion, and upon receipt of payment, they provide your conveyancing solicitor with a certificate that enables the registration at the land registry to be carried out. The land registry can take several weeks to complete their part, but once everything is checked, your conveyancing solicitor will send all the deeds to you for safekeeping unless you've asked them to store the same on your behalf, in which case they will make arrangements to store them in their vault and confirm any details to you in writing. So, we hope that this conveyancing guide to buying and selling your home quickly and easily has been very useful to you and removed some of the myths around the often arcane and archaic conveyancing process. The conveyancing solicitor such as Paul Hadjick at Clutton Cox is a font of great knowledge, legal and local, and they are more than happy to help you with any questions you might have before you start your journey. And what may surprise you is you are not charged always for initial advice. Of course, if you choose experts like Clutton Cox as your conveyancing solicitors, they'll be on your case quicker than the time it takes you to watch this video. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this series, and if you want to get hold of this book, grab it from cluttoncox.co.uk, and if you have any questions, just email info@cluttoncox.co.uk.